Hey Kimberly, thanks for getting this in, and thanks for putting it together correctly. And then this is the same meter shot you gave me last time. So unless you're, showing me how you used it in the scene, which is going to be a requirement next week, I don't really need this shot again. I know what meter you have. We're okay. You don't have to include it. But thanks. I mean, okay. So here we are. So here for this assignment, that you were asked to use white balance to convey a nostalgic feeling. You were also, of course, asked to set up your shots. So you were going to need a tripod, and you were going to have to bracket. You were going to need to think about composition, and including cast shadows into your composition, which you did here. Ooh, look how pretty those are. And here. So I see on some of these, you're significantly changing the white balance while you're bracketing. Not all of them. I mean, and that's fine to do too, because that's how we learn, right? We experiment. So it looks like, for all of these, it looks like you are leaving your in-camera white balance pretty much the same. There's a shift here on this set, and then there's a shift here on this set. But then here, I'm seeing a shift for the first time all throughout one shot while you're bracketing, which, I think is okay to do. I think it's smart to get an idea. If you don't know what's going to convey, what white balance specifically is going to convey the emotional tone that you want, then it's fine to do that. Because the white balance isn't going to affect our exposure too much. It's just going to affect the color of the light. It's going to affect the color taint of our whites. Well, everything really, but mostly our whites, really, right? So I think that's fine. Okay, so here are your results. This one is what I would call a low, not like a classic low-key image, but there's really no bright brights. It's pretty dark, so it's fairly low-key. This one has an more even spread of values. You've got some bright white back here and then some really dark over here. But it's still pretty dark overall. It's pretty low-key. And that low-key is not a critique on the exposure settings at all. I mean, I think it's exposed just fine. However, there's just an absence of bright whites, really. And then this one is a little bit, got a nice, I would say, a broader spread between our darkest dark and our lightest light. And there's lots of values in between. And this one as well. And this one goes back to being fairly flat in regard to light quality. Okay, so I want to talk about this one and this one compared to all the rest. I think that here you're really using the light to sculpt form and to convey an emotive mood and an emotive tone. And I think that's happening here as well. This one is going to be a hotter, and in regard to Calvin, this one's hotter than this one. And I can say that because our whites are a little bit cool, like blue. And then here, our whites are a little bit yellow. And in between the two, it's hard for me to say which one I think is more nostalgic, because the subject matter itself is really nostalgic, isn't it? It's a toy, it's a handmade toy. Well, I don't know if it's handmade, but it's looking pretty handmade toy, like handmade-ish. So it's hard for me to take away the nostalgia of the subject matter and to look at just the light. But were I to speak from just a technical point of view, I would say that this one is effectively nostalgic, because we get we read about it in the text. Humans respond to Kelvin temperatures that are below 4,000. Really, we find those to be more comfortable and moody in a positive way. We feel good in those light temperatures. Fluorescent light is really hot, right? It's like, gosh, I want to say it's like 6,000 K. And it probably, if you asked any sample set of humans out there, they would say fluorescent is their least favorite type of light. We don't feel good when we're in fluorescent. Now, you don't have any examples of fluorescent here in your finals, but maybe here, this is looking pretty fluorescent to me because it's just very blue, right? I saw another one that was pretty fluorescent-y. Or maybe I didn't. I think that might have been it. Maybe these. They're very blue, So this is a really orange image, but to me it's off. It feels like it was shot in incandescent mode when there wasn't incandescent light. So maybe this is natural light, like light coming in through a window, but it was shot in incandescent preset, so it's just really orange. This one feels natural. But these two, I think, are your best because the light is actually becoming part of the composition. You know, the shadows, the cast shadows and the bright highlights are becoming part of the composition. And then the overall color of the white is really inviting. This one's pretty flat, right? We've got fairly even light. This is a little bit in shadow here, and we have a little bit of a cast shadow. But overall, the light is extremely soft and even and flat. And it's a nice quality of light, but I would say that it's less nostalgic than the sunshine that we have, the direct sunshine that we have on these two. Okay, so that's my feedback. I think you nailed it. Good job on the assignment. Good job on the presentation. Again, I did have the same problem again with this one as I did on assignment number 3. You outputted this in Lightroom based on a monitor size that is tinier than mine, so it's all pixelated. So I had to actually look at it in a reduced size view. So I went ahead and I did post instructions on how to build PDFs in Acrobat. So go ahead in the future and always make your PDFs in Acrobat, okay? Thanks, Kimberly. Great job on the assignment photographically. Very good. Thank you.